I'm Michelle from Legal Suite, and this is part 9 of how to complete the Docgen database for a transfer matter. In this case, it is a deceased estate transfer, and we shall be looking at the deceased estate screen. Now, please note that I've already captured my matter with all my parties, and if you need some assistance with this, please have a look at our webinar on how to capture a deceased estate matter. Right, so highlighting the matter on my desktop, I click on the Docgen database icon, or I can press the F3 screen on my keyboard. Okay, and here we have the deceased estate screen. Now, please note that this option will only be made available to you in the event of a deceased estate transfer. So this is not a sale by means of agreement. This is by means of endorsement, either in terms of section 45(1) or in terms of intestate succession or in terms of a will or antenuptial contract. Right, so at our type, our deceased either died testate, with a will, or intestate. So if there is a will in play, we put the radio button in the testate option, and if the will forms part of a joint estate, we would need to insert the flag accordingly. Right, so date of death, obviously this is in terms of the death certificate, and we pop in the date as follows. Okay, the value of the estate, you would obviously need to refer to your L&D account, and you would then pop in the value of the estate as follows. Okay, let's just make the value slightly higher. Okay, date of will pretty much speaks for itself. We refer to the will, and let's see when our will was executed. Place signed, where was the will executed? Clause number refers to the clause in the will which specifically allows for the transfer of the deceased's portion of the estate. So we would pop in the clause of the will, and wording of the will would be the verbatim wording of the clause. So you type this in word for word. Okay, so let's put that in. Right, and then at our deceased estate in favour of, who is receiving transfer of the deceased portion. So is it a surviving spouse? Is it a child? Is it a daughter? Is it an heir? And so on and so forth. Also, please note that we do have a lookup library here, which you can refer to, and you can populate with things such as surviving spouse, son, daughter, heir, etc., etc. Now, if the deceased was intestate at the time of death, we simply pop the check into the radio button, and again, date of death per our agreement, per our death certificate, the value of the estate, and which section of Intestate Succession Act comes into play. So we put the radio button. We would need to insert our estate causa word for word. So insert causa here, and this will obviously appear on our deed of transfer. And at the estate in favour of, again, you would pop in who is receiving the deceased portion of the estate. And once again, we have our lookup library to refer to.